You were on bond for an assault of a family member from April, and now you've picked up two more assaults of a family member.
A man on bond for assaulting his wife picks up two more assault charges against the same wife and her 16-year-old brother. We're talking 3 open family violence cases, a violated protective order, and a judge who is about to absolutely unleash on this defendant. The defendant even tries to speak up and gets shut down with a single word. No. Watch as this judge drops the hammer with GPS monitoring, magistrate orders protection, and a threat that will make your teeth fall out, literally. This is what happens when you can't follow the one thing a judge asks you not to do. Let's break down this train wreck.
You're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
One of the complainants and the defendant are married. On November 2nd of 2024, officers were dispatched to an assault at a residential home in Harris County, Texas. Officers met with the complainant, who stated that she and the defendant have been common law spouses for 9 years, and that complainant and defendant were at complainant's father's house having a party. The complainant went to move their car so a guest could leave. The defendant became agitated and left. The complainant caught up with him, and he was laying down on the ground. The defendant grabbed the complainant's hair and struck her with an open palm to the face. The defendant stated, "There's no mark, so there's no proof I hit you." The complainant stated she felt pain. Complainant 2 is the brother of complainant 1 and is 16 years old. Complainant 2 stated he saw the defendant cause the scene because of the vehicle being moved and observed the defendant cursing and screaming at complainant 1. Complainant 2 heard screaming and went back outside. The complainant 2 saw his dad holding the defendant by the wrist while on the ground. The defendant's parents.
Oh, so the son sees him holding the wife down. Is that what you're saying?
No, Judge, I'm saying that, so the brother, complainant 1's brother, saw his,
Complainant 1 being the wife.
yes, complainant 1 is wife, Judge.
Brother.
So complainant 2 saw his dad holding the defendant by the wrist while on the ground. Defendant's parents are called and the defendant was let go. The defendant began to yell and scream at complainant 2 again, and then lunged at complainant 2's dad. Complainant 2 got in between them, and the defendant struck complainant 2 with a closed fist to the side of his cheek. Complainant 2 struck the defendant once back. Officer stated a reasonable person would feel pain after being struck in the face, so he struck complainant 1 with an open palm and complainant 2.
Now, the complainant in the first assault, who is that?
Judge, it's Christian Martinez. So there are 2 complainants in the other assault.
This is my wife, Your Honor, Stephanie Martinez.
Let's break down what just happened at this party, because this situation escalated fast. The defendant and his common law wife of 9 years were at her father's house for a party. She went to move their car, so a guest could leave, a completely reasonable, helpful thing to do. But the defendant became agitated and stormed off. When his wife caught up with him, he was laying on the ground, and that's when things turned violent. He grabbed her hair and struck her face with an open palm. Here's the chilling part. He immediately told her, "There's no mark, so there's no proof I hit you." That statement shows consciousness of guilt and an understanding that he was committing crime. He was already thinking about how to avoid accountability. But then it gets worse. The wife's 16-year-old brother witnessed the defendant cursing and screaming at his sister. The father tried to intervene by holding the defendant by the wrist to restrain him. The defendant's parents were called to calm the situation, and he was released. But instead of leaving or de-escalating, the defendant began yelling at the teenage brother again and then lunged at the father. The 16-year-old brother got between them to protect his dad, and the defendant punched the teenager in the face with a closed fist. A child. He punched a child who was trying to protect his family. This isn't just domestic violence against a spouse. This is attacking multiple family members, including a minor. The violence escalated from an open palm slap to a closed fist punch, showing increasing aggression.
Do we need your help? You're in enough hot water as it is, Mr. Mancias.
I understand, sir.
So it was the wife, Judge. So there are two.
So she gets another round, right? The
Yes.
new case is against the same complaining witness.
And there are 3 open AFMs now in total.
What is the one thing I asked you not to do?
I understand, Your Honor.
Hold up. The prosecutor just revealed something huge. She gets another round, right? The wife, Stephanie Martinez, is not just a victim in this case. She's also the victim in the original case from April that the defendant was already on bond for. That means this is the second time he's assaulted her while awaiting trial for assaulting her the first time. The prosecutor confirms. The new case is against the same complaining witness, and there are 3 open AFMs now in total. AFM stands for Assault Family Member. So let's do the math. Case number 1 from April, assault against wife. Case number 2 from November, assault against wife again. Case number 3 from November, same incident. Assault against wife's 16-year-old brother. 3 open assault cases. 2 victims. 1 defendant who clearly cannot control himself. Then the judge asks the most devastating question. What is the one thing I asked you not to do? When someone is released on bond for domestic violence, the primary condition is always do not have contact with the victim. Do not assault anyone. The defendant's response? I understand, Your Honor, but understanding and doing are 2 different things, and this defendant has spectacularly failed. The judge's tone here is chilling. It's the calm before the storm. He's about to drop the hammer, and the defendant knows it.
Was there no protective order at the time?
Was there was a protective order, Judge.
Do we know if alcohol was an issue here as well?
This is a DVD case, so that's why we're looking it up, Judge. They said that they were having a celebration at the dad's house, so I would imagine, but I can't say.
This was initially sent to the ERD, so I want to keep it again. We're going to keep it. Okay. Mr. Macias, I'm going to find that you are a complete and utter danger to my society. And there's only one thing that we do. Guess what happens now?
Oh, this just got so much worse. The judge asked if there was a protective order at the time of the assault, and the prosecutor confirms. There was a protective order, Judge. Let that sink in. The defendant was on bond for assaulting his wife in April. As a condition of that bond, a protective order was issued telling him to stay away from her. But instead of complying, he not only had contact with her, he assaulted her again and her teenage brother while under an active protective order. This isn't just a new assault. This is a violation of a court order, which is a separate offense. The judge also asked if alcohol was involved. At a celebration at the father's house, the prosecutor says they would imagine alcohol was present but can't confirm. Alcohol is often a factor in domestic violence, and if the defendant's bond conditions included no alcohol consumption, that would be yet another violation. The prosecutor mentions this is a DVD case, likely meaning it was assigned to a specialized domestic violence division, showing the seriousness with which the system is treating this defendant. Then comes the judge's pronouncement. I'm going to find that you are a complete and utter danger to my society. Not the community, not the public. My society. The judge is taking this personally because repeat domestic violence offenders are a threat to everyone. And there's only one thing that we do. Guess what happens now? That's not a question. That's a promise of consequences.
I'm entering now magistrate orders for protection on both of those people. And I'm ordering you not to have any contact with either of these people. You violate these conditions, I will have a hearing as to whether I'm going to hold you at no bond.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand?
I understand, sir.
I'm also now going to put a GPS monitor on you so I know where you are at all times. And I'm ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs.
Understood, sir.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
Any more issues, I'm going to make your bond so high you'll have teeth falling out.
Yes, Your Honor.
Goes with you.
May I make one statement before?
No,
Stephen, can you sign?
The judge just laid down the law. And honestly, this defendant got off easier than he probably deserved. Let's break down what just happened. First, the judge is entering magistrate orders for protection on both victims, the wife and the 16-year-old brother. These are emergency protective orders that go into effect immediately. Absolute no contact with either victim. If the defendant violates these conditions, the judge will hold a hearing to determine whether to hold him at no bond, meaning he'd sit in jail until trial with no possibility of release. That could be months or even years. Second, GPS monitoring. The judge is putting an ankle monitor on the defendant so authorities know his exact location at all times. This serves multiple purposes. It ensures he's not near the victim's homes or workplaces. It creates a digital trail if he violates a protective order, and it's a constant physical reminder that he's being watched. GPS monitors typically cost $300 to $500 per month, which the defendant has to pay out of pocket. Third, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Given that this assault happened at a party where alcohol was likely present, this condition directly addresses the contributing factor. And then comes the judge's iconic line. Any more issues? I'm going to make your bond so high you'll have teeth falling out. That's not just a colorful threat. That's a promise that the financial consequences will be so severe that the defendant will feel physical distress. The judge is done playing games with this repeat offender. Let's bring this all together and analyze what we just witnessed in this powerful domestic violence hearing. The defendant, Mr. Martinez, came into court facing 2 new assault charges, while already on bond for a previous assault charge from April. All 3 cases involve family violence, and shockingly, 2 of the 3 assaults were against the same victim, his common-law wife of 9 years, Stephanie Martinez. The most recent incident occurred on November 2nd, 2024, at a party at the wife's father's house. The defendant became agitated when his wife moved their car to let a guest leave, grabbed her hair, and struck her in the face with an open palm. He then told her, "There's no mark, so there's no proof I hit you," demonstrating consciousness of guilt. When the wife's 16-year-old brother witnessed the assault and the father tried to intervene by restraining the defendant, the situation escalated further. After being released, the defendant lunged at the father, and when the teenage brother got between him to protect his dad, the defendant punched the 16-year-old in the face with a closed fist. This violent escalation resulted in 2 assault charges from a single incident, one against the wife and one against the minor brother. The prosecutor revealed that the defendant was under an active protective order at the time of these assaults, meaning he violated a court order by having contact with his wife, let alone assaulting her and her family member. The judge asked a devastating question: "What is the one thing I asked you not to do?" highlighting that the defendant's primary bond condition was